Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment. Guys, today we are back with part 2, which is brought to you guys by Ramos Capital and Noble Fitness. Guys, we are back with Derek Reese. Derek, how are you doing, brother?
I'm great. We got a head call. We did part 1.
Yeah.
So should we tell the viewers, hey, go watch part 1 as well?
Yeah, go ahead, man. You go ahead.
Part 1, check it out. Part 2, what are we gonna get into right now?
Well, I was thinking, obviously, we talked about adversity in the first one. We
Yes.
talked about your first 4 years in the Marine Corps, how you faced that adversity, specifically a DUI.
Right.
You re-enlisted in July, and then you got a DUI in October.
Right.
So literally like a couple of months in there. I want to talk about how did that go over when you transitioned? And only that, at the end of the podcast, you said that there was more
Yeah. At the end of the last episode.
adversity.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
So the viewers can find all this like extended or this story. Yeah. Let me stop. My YouTube, I go in full length, but just for right now, on top of the DUI, I also had a hazing charge. Okay, so the end result was 6105 on the body, but what had happened was
Was that before or after the DUI?
the incident occurred before the DUI. Me signing the 6105 happened after the DUI.
Oh.
So there was an investigation in between there. This young Marine who I thought I knew, got promoted to Lance Corporal. We pulled him away from the formation, said, hey, we do this thing. We're going to, pin the rank in your collar. Are you cool with it? He was iffy about it. He's like, I guess, let's do it. Boom, we all, punched the rank in his collar and called it a day, went back to work, and everything seemed cool until months later. They're like, hey, I got a phone call. Hey, is this Corporal Reese? Yeah, what's up? This is Officer so-and-so calling in regards to the whole situation that went down. So, a lot of people got burned essentially because we punched the rank into this individual's chest, into his collar.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the 6105 for hazing?
Hazing,
Okay. Now let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You looking back at it now, do you think that was okay?
Foolish, just ridiculous.
So that kind of stuff still happens in the Marine Corps.
It happens probably today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What message would you send to the people, you that obviously went through it? What message would you send to those people that are still doing that type of stuff? It's called rite of passage.
Yeah.
It's called rite of passage. But in reality, it's hazing. So what would you say to those people that are still doing that? Those maybe young lance corporals, maybe even sergeants that might not partake in it, but do allow it to happen.
I would say it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary practice. Okay, we have the blood striping, which we can talk about, but we're talking about the pinning. This is what they call it. The pinning. It's like, bro, the Marine already earned the title. Like, they went through 13 weeks of this craziness to earn the title of United States Marine, and now essentially, whether or not it's in a celebratory fashion, and you're breaking flesh, this pinning stuff, it's just an unnecessary thing. I say I did it for years, and I had it done. I got my blood stripes. I got my rank pinned in me, but
I think that's a problem. I think the problem is that you're cool. Obviously, you were cool with it because if not, you would have said something.
Correct.
Right? The problem really is that Marines get brought into, again, this rite of passage, thinking that that's what they're supposed to do because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they make it part of the culture. And it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's wrong. I personally don't agree with it.
Right.
I've done it as well. As a matter of fact, me as a civilian, I did it to my cousin.
Yeah.
Okay, as a civilian. me, Albert Ramos, as a civilian, because there's nothing that he can. There's nothing that they can do to me. Okay, but as a United States Marine,
Oh, yeah.
that still holds authority over this individual. How do you think it's? And I'm asking to the camera. How do you think that that's gonna make them feel?
Right. They're going to resent you. And as an NCO, the moment I pulled this dude to the side, this dude was older than me. I thought I knew this guy. Like, I met his wife, I met his kids. I helped him move out of the barracks, put his gear and his belongings into his car, met the wife, shook hands. Man, this guy's pretty cool. He's like 27. I'm thinking in my head, if a 27-year-old man is not comfortable with something and is being like, hey, we're going to punch you, it's going to be cool. Like, in my head, if that happened to me, I'd be like, I'm not into it. Like, I'm good. I'm thinking if he's going to say no, he's going to say no. But he just...
What would have happened if he would have said no? Like, let's say, for example, right? New Lance Corporal walks into the command. He's about to get promoted to corporal. As a matter of fact, a PFC, about to get promoted to Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
He walks into the office and says, oh, I'm about to get promoted because I recruited 2 people or 3 people through PTAD. Okay, well, you're going to get pinned.
Yeah.
But pin like the hazing type of pin, not pin. Yeah. He says, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
What would happen to that Marine? Will he get ousted?
There's a few things that could happen. Let's just say we're talking about a bunch of Marines that I don't know and that you don't know. We're talking about a made up situation or like things that might happen.
No, but this happens though.
Okay, correct.
This happens.
What could happen? One, he can be ostracized, like, oh, that dude's a B word or he's a P word or he didn't get pinned, like, you just suck. That could happen. And that might last for a month. It might last for 6 months. Oh, dude, you still didn't get pinned, whatever, you suck. So he'll get ostracized, right? What could happen on the other side of that coin is like this Marine, this young person stands up to people that hold a higher rank than him and say, hey, I'm not into it. I don't do that. If you guys do that, cool, do it somewhere else. Don't do it to me. And then he could stand up for himself, right? If it's an 18 or a 19-year-old kid, or maybe it's a 27-year-old guy that would have stood up to me. What could happen is like, okay, I'll be like, whoa, hey, I didn't know, like, all right, like, no worries, right? That could happen too. And now you can earn the respect of folks above you. So it's just case by case. Like, I think in every command, there's good people, okay? Am I a bad person because I pinned this guy, even though I can see in his eyes that he didn't want to? Going back, when I was like, hey, bro, like, congratulations, like, we're going to pin you. It's this thing we do. I was like, are you down? He was like, he wasn't down. I can see it in his eyes. He wasn't down. He was like, kind of wishy-washy on the fence. At that moment, I should be like, oh, dude, never mind. We'll do it later. Do it later and then just never do it because he wasn't into it. So again, they can be ostracized if someone stands up, or if you stand up to this hazing thing. It's like, oh, dude, you earned the respect. Okay. So for me personally, I would implore young Marines to just stick up for themselves and say, hey, no, I'm not into it. Do it to someone else. And you can just walk away. And if you need to throw hands,
Yeah, but I think that's the problem. I think the problem is that, the Marines that go like, no, dude, you're not doing that shit to me, and don't get ostracized like that are usually like the guys that can whoop the other person's ass.
Yeah.
But for the scrawny little fucking Lance Corporal that weighs like 110 pounds soaking wet, like, yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, dude, you're a fucking bitch.
Well, that's where it comes into, having growing up with a strong family, because if you're a scrawny individual and, people can probably push you around easily, if you grew up with good, strong values that comes from a house with a father and a mother, and these people loving you and, bringing you up, just stick up for yourself. When the country is lacking in strong households, now we're lacking in building up young men to stick up for themselves. So it comes down to the country is at a point where, let me not go there. Men need to raise their sons to stick up for themselves. And when we don't have that, then you have scrawny young folks that are scared to stick up for themselves. So it's like, you know, if a scrawny dude did stick up for himself and then he got, you know, I don't even think that's kind of weird in 2025. I don't think anyone's gonna, oh my God, you don't want to get hazed. I'm gonna beat you up because you don't want to get your rank.
I mean, you'll be surprised. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I've been out of the Marine Corps for almost 2 years now. And from the time that I saw that to the time that I actually got out of the Marine Corps, I was a gunnery sergeant. So I was a mandatory reporter anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't like Lance Corporals, and I wasn't taking the Lance Corporals out the bag to fucking pin them or anything like that, you know? Like, this happens, I would say, all the way up from private to junior sergeant, because I don't think if you are a and I want you to look at yourself in the mirror right now, like as you're watching this video, go to your camera and look at yourself in the camera and be like, damn, dude, I have been a sergeant for more than 2 years and I'm still doing this type of stupid shit. And if you're a staff NCO, you have no place in the Marine Corps if you're still doing this type of shit. And I don't care if you are a grunt, a motor T operator, or mechanic. I don't care what your MOS is. Recon, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no place in the Marine Corps for this, because what value, like the way that I look at it is from a rational perspective. What value does that bring?
Exactly.
Like honestly, like, answer. If you, it's specifically from the old school folk, because those are the ones that like to comment the most. Thank you so much for your comments. Okay.
Thank you.
Like, what value did that bring to you back in OIF, you know, 01, 02, 03, or even Vietnam? Because there's a couple of people left over from Vietnam. You know, it's like, what values does that bring?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the only argument I see brought forward is it's a tradition, it's a tradition, it's a tradition. I'm like, dude, this is no tradition. This is no, you know what's a tradition? The Marine Corps birthday celebration, freaking mess nights, and things of that nature. This is no tradition. Like, you're just carrying on this thing that's so unnecessary. People below you, if they're uncomfortable with it, they're going to resent you. And it's bad for command climate, literally.
Okay, so going back to this whole situation, so you got NJP'd in October for your DUI.
2022. Yes, I did.
And then when did you get your 6105?
March timeframe of 2023.
Wow, so it was a while.
Yes, so
for the investigation.
I've learned in my short career that Marine Corps investigations can take a long time.
Yep.
And, you know, unfortunately, I wasn't the only one that got this 6105. This gentleman that I joined the Marine Corps with, he had orders to MSG, and we pinned this young Marine, this 27-year-old Marine together. So I pinned the guy, and my NCOs followed suit. I'm talking.
Because you were already a Lance Corporal.
No, I was a corporal.
Well, I mean, if you got NJP'd in October. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So the Marines followed suit. My NCO was like, boom, one after another, bam, bam. And one of the guys that also did it after me was one of my buddies who had orders, just like me, to MSG school. He got a 6105, orders gone. So again, I'm telling the folks at home, you know, you're going to get behind the wheel, rolling the dice. You're going to get these opportunities taken away from you. If you want to do cool stuff in the organization, i.e., Marine Security Guard, where you can travel the world, sip Mai Tais, you know, in the Barbados, all this cool stuff, of course, in the uniform representing the U.S. And if you do silly stuff like hazing, DUIs, things of this nature, bro, you cannot do the cool stuff. You're missing out on the cool stuff because you want to do a tradition, which is not a tradition, you silly goose.
Yeah. So, and I want to take a second, man, and I want to thank you for being so open about, because, dude, like, I'm telling you, dude, like, if it was me sitting in that chair, I would be very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I probably wouldn't be as comfortable as you are talking about these things and openly. But I think that's what gives you, which I respect a lot, that's what gives you closure, right? Like, you admitting that's like, you know what, dude, like, I fucked up. It was bad. I did it. It was wrong. And you get closure by you doing that. You close that chapter. Therefore, you are able to move on to bigger and better things in your life, which is exactly what I want to talk to you about. Okay, so you went from that command. You got your 6105 in March. When did you leave that command?
April, May timeframe.
Okay, so
Dude, I
literally,
was signing 6105s out the door. I'm just like, dude, just I looked at the 6105, like, I'm like, let's go. Let me get out of here.
okay,
I had a bad taste in my mouth from my DUI because, dude, I was kind of someone that the Marines, not to keep going backwards, but I was someone that the Marines looked up to and things of this nature. And then when you get your rank taken away, now the dudes that I kind of mentored
yeah,
and we're in formation, it's like, oh, my spot in formation, I had like Lance corporals that are now corporals, and now I'm a Lance. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like they're looking at me like they're tapping my shoulder because I was still trying to stand in my spot in formation. So my young NCO tapped me on my shoulder to kind of like, hey, buddy, like this is not your spot anymore. So just again for the folks at home, when you get in trouble with these weirdo things that you're doing, drinking and driving, guess what? All those junior Marines that you either treated well or treated not so well, they're going to be above you when you get your rank stripped away. So
Yeah.
live with that too. But how I'm going on when I PCS'd,
yeah. So obviously, when do you pick up corporal again?
2023 December.
Okay, so it was
Because
okay.
DUI in October, NJP in November. So they took their little sweet time with it. Of course, the command's busy. O6 commander does O6 commander things, and the battalion level NJP was like on the back burner. So I got NJP'd in November, meaning I wasn't eligible for corporal again in December of the following year.
Okay, got you.
12 months later.
12 months. So they put a promotion restriction for you for 12 months, along with 45.
No, I had, again, I try to be a good guy. And so I asked my XO at the time, Lieutenant Lacer, really good guy. He was a civilian now. I was like, hey, can you come kind of represent me a little bit? And he's like, sure. So he came out, the CO came out, the first sergeant came out, and my platoon sergeant came out. So all these guys are kind of like representing me a bit while
Talking good about you. So what
Yeah.
happens is when you get your NJP, the commander is going to be going around the room, and those are kind of like character statements, I guess, if you want to call
exactly
it.
what it is.
Yeah, so a character statement, and it basically says like, "Hey, listen, this Marine did mess up. However, this is what he does. This is what he brings to the table. This is, all his accolades that he's had in his time. Go easy on him." Or it can be the opposite too. It can be, hey, listen, this Marine's a freaking piece of shit.
Yeah, max him out.
Max his ass out. In your case, obviously, it worked out in your behavior.
In my case, I got the rank stripped, 12-month restriction for the rank, because it was a DUI. No driving on base, aboard any base. So here's where it got
Damn.
tricky, and we can even go. It ties into the PCS to when I moved to 2.9.
Well, in your job, dude, you couldn't freaking drive.
Exactly. So I can't drive a tactical vehicle on base. I can't drive a personally owned vehicle, POV, on base. So now I'm like, all right, tight, just whatever. I get to 29 Palms when I check into McSess, and I'm still like, I can't drive this car that I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars for. I have a car payment. I can't drive a car. My job requires me to drive. I can't even do my job. Requires me to operate. So yeah, just all that. Just ridiculous stuff.
Okay, so so what happened? Like did they have to? Do you have to request a waiver for you to be able to drive?
We try to put a package together and send it through, jump through hoops to try to get me behind the wheel of a tactical vehicle at least, just so I can do my job. It never happened,
So how long do you have to wait?
Just I waited till October until I can drive a tactical
Oh,
vehicle.
okay, October 2023.
Correct.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
you went a full year, almost a full year, without driving a tactical vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, I could VC, I could be in the passenger
Oh,
seat and
okay,
still
okay.
do, be an asset that way, but there's no me behind the wheel
Oh,
on the roads.
got
in the
you.
TA, no hardball, but yeah.
Got you. Okay. So you got to train on Palms, and we kind of discussed it, right? You were Lance Corporal with a hash mark.
Right.
You had 5 ribbons and all that stuff. How do you set the tempo for your career after that?
How do I set the tempo for my career after that? I had to. There was nights where
Did they try to punk you? That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to ask you. It's like, did the NCOs, did the corporals try to punk you? Did the sergeants try to punk you out? You know, okay,
Yeah,
so
so I got there and I was kind of chaperoned. When you check into some a new place, you have a chaperone, right? Kind
yeah,
of someone to represent the unit and
yeah.
show you around. I didn't need any showing around because we skipped over this. I attached to Victor 3-4 in 2021, so I was with Darkside from 2020 to 2021. I was with Darkside to do a 31st Mu pump. So 3-4 is out of 2.9. So I know 2.9. I've done, McCree's, multiple ITXs. I know the TA. I know 29 Palms relatively well. So when I'm checking into McSess with my DUI and all these other 6105s, my hash mark and my Lance Corporal rank, no, they didn't punk me. They didn't punk me because I had a bigger, it's not a bigger stack. It's just these young corporals had 2 ribbons, and I myself joining in the year I joined, 18, I had 5. So there was no punking going on. Obviously, I was an older Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
No, they treated me well, and yeah, it was good. It was okay. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you make your name in your current unit? You know, how do they know you? If somebody were to comment, because it's usually like those accounts that say user 3501035664,
No
that
profile
dude's
pic.
like, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
He treats me. So okay, so if the people would comment, what do you think that they will comment? People that will be in your unit.
Okay, so I'm not even with McSess, the original unit I checked into when I PCSed. I'm with a different unit now. So I mean,
Within 29 pumps.
yeah, I'm still in 2.9. So to answer your question, I wouldn't be surprised if there was negative comments because I'll get on live, I'll get on TikTok and do my thing, and I have folks commenting from back in the day saying, "Dude, you treated me this way, blah blah," and like I've done so much like not so good stuff in my career, whether that was the hazing piece or questionable field day activities, where we can get into that if we would like, but people, just questionable stuff. And now in my position where I have a little bit of a platform, I'm like, dude, these things are wrong. This is not how you Marine. This is not how you Marine. You don't do these weirdo things, because I've done them, and this doesn't help the organization at all. This doesn't help the individual Marine, the individual human. So you might get a plethora of comments from people that knew me from the past.
Yeah.
4 years ago. You might get some comments that knew me a year ago, where I'm still kind of getting my feet. You might get current comments that say this guy's good. But even folks from back then might tell you I'm the good. But everyone that I've encountered in my life knows a different version of me, right? There's a version of
Yeah.
Derek that you met in 2021. I'm not that person anymore, and that's part of life. It's called
Do you think
growth.
do you currently drink alcohol?
No, I don't. I'll my people will ask me, "Oh, you want to drink?" I'll be like, "No, I'm not drinking today. I'm not drinking today. I haven't drank in a few months. After my DUI in 2022, I still had days of drinking, and this is. I like it you brought this up. We could talk about drinking in the organization. So to answer your question, no, I'm not drinking right now. Just right now, I have other things I need to take care of that don't involve me having a beer or two.
Other priorities. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Other priorities. So, never have I ever woke up a day after drinking and said, "I'm so glad I had that beer."
I know.
I'm so glad I had that.
I can fucking
That
relate
shot.
to that.
Yes, alcohol can be it can be a little bit of a tool just to kind of break a little ice if you're on a date or you're in business. Like there's folks that like in business that like to have a glass of whiskey, but these guys aren't. You're going not. We enjoy our whiskey,
Yeah.
we enjoy our wine. So can it be a tool? Yes. It can be a conversation piece. Yes, but for a young Marine, of course, we're born in a bar. That's where that divide is. Like born in a bar, but don't get carried away with it. So I'm not drinking right now.
Okay. Do you feel that plays a factor in the reason why you've had this positive transformation for you in your life?
Brother, so as early as 9 months ago, I was like drinking. It's funny because they say that the prefrontal cortex develops fully at the age of 25. I'm 25. So around me turning 25, I'm like, I know this whole drinking thing is not helping me right now. Am I saying I'm never gonna drink again? No, I'm not. I mean, I'm a wine guy. I love a good glass of wine. I'm saying I have things I need to take care of, like you said, priorities. And I had certain episodes last year of me drinking a little too much and, you know, saying the wrong things in front of people I've known for decades, you know, doing the wrong thing and just waking up and like, dude, this, like, I'm like, this is not it right now. So I've slowed down and I'm not drinking right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that, man. When I transitioned out of the Marine Corps, I was going through a very similar phase as well. I thought, I was like, oh man, I work from home now. I can drink all I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you said, I can relate to that a lot. It's like at the next day, you were like, "Oh, dude, like, why the fuck did I did that to myself?" Not only that, you know, I have kids.
Right.
So that's not the behavior that I want my kids to learn. And to be honest with you, I'm talking to you like this, like I'm all reformed and all that shit, but I'm still going through it, dude. And it's my wife, shout out to her, that keeps me honest about this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hate it. I hate it when she brings it up, but then when as time passes, I see that she does have a good point. I'm like, damn man, like where would I be if I would have continued down this path? You know, so I can 100% relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about something very real.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously you're doing good. Would you say that you're doing good now in
I'll
your
say great.
in your personal life and in your career? Would
Yeah.
you say that? Okay, so obviously that DUI and that 6105 happened very early on in your enlistment. What that gives you is time for you to redeem yourself and be like, hey, you know, this person had this adversity. He's a completely reformed person. Are you going to try to put it in a re-enlistment package? When the time comes, because I think you still got some time.
I still have a year plus. You know, I'm not afraid to say this, that I don't think I'll be doing another reenlistment. But for the young people, or just for the Marines at home, I always implore Marines, whenever they get asked this question at work, like, hey, are you going to reenlist? Just tell them yes. Because often I see that when a Marine says, no, I'm going to get out, you know, whether they have a year left or 2 years left, like, oh, I'm going to get out, they won't be presented with opportunities that a Marine that
Very
said
true.
they're going to reenlist. So whether or not you're going to reenlist, just tell everyone you're reenlisting. I'm at a position and place in my career where I want the opportunities to go to the guys, the young guys. I want them to get the opportunities, you know, the cool stuff, do all that. Because I've done some cool stuff, but at this point, I can't. I really can't. Yeah, I just can't reenlist.
Okay.
I would be successful, but I need to be successful outside the uniform at this point.
Okay. So what that really means to me, right, is that you are going to be looking to transition outside of the military. What are you planning on doing when you transition?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go full time in financial services. You know, I know you know things about that. Right now I work part time for a financial brokerage, so yeah, just go full time in the finance space. Yeah, literally that's it.
So you already have your licenses and all that stuff?
Yeah,
So, okay.
I know you know people in the space.
Yeah. So what? But regardless of the people that I know, because everyone can build whatever they, however much they want to build, right? My question to you is like, what are you doing now since you already made your mind up? Which, by the way, I commend you that you're not on the fence about it. You're like, fuck it, dude. I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I commend you for that because that allows you to start planning.
Right.
And that was something that I did very successfully. I started planning very early on. That way, by the time that I got out of the military, I didn't really miss a paycheck.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, great. Like, I'm not getting paid $3,000 something. Like, I didn't even need it anyways. So what are you doing today to ensure your financial success once you decide to transition? So that way, you know, maybe there's a couple of guys in your same spot that are looking to transition with, regardless if they got adversity or not, right? So like, there's a couple of people that are doing it like what tips or what things are you doing today to ensure
Well,
your financial
like I said, I work
success?
part time in a financial brokerage, so the transition for me is going to be easy with the combination of a little, what's the word when they do the leave? You have leave saved up.
Terminal leave.
Yeah, when I do a little terminal, just transition to that part full time immediately.
But what does that mean? Like what would like okay, so the reason why, right, is I like to paint mental pictures. Okay. Okay, so you say you do that part time.
Right.
How does that look like part time right now?
It's just everywhere because I have Marine Corps responsibilities where maybe I can't meet with the client through these hours of the day, which are like the most important hours. So sometimes my work days look like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. During the week on the other side, not the Marine Corps, and so when I'm no longer obligated with my Marine Corps duties, then I can focus on what I need to focus on to have a successful transition.
Okay.
My schedule's going to open up, and
Okay.
that's where the terminal leave's going to come into play. And with the unit I'm at now, we have 3-month training cycles where we're training units, and if I get a call like, hey, a vehicle went down, we need you to go to range whatever the case is and go execute. I can't be like, Mr. Client, let's reschedule. That's not how that works. That's not
Yeah.
gonna fly.
But is there a skill bridge program for that?
Not yet.
Okay, so there's not a skill bridge program. So you essentially will have to utilize your leave days
Yeah.
in order for you, or your terminal leave, in order for you to utilize that time to start transitioning.
Find an apartment. I'm thinking
Where are you planning on going?
local. I'll probably be down the street. I think I like the Carlsbad area. It's expensive. I mean, California's expensive, but it probably be Oceanside.
You stayed in
or-
California. Okay. Well, I know a really good real estate agent and mortgage
Yes,
loan officer.
exactly.
I can do the introduction really easily. Okay. So the reason why I tell you that, right, is because, dude, try it and go all in. This is just my piece of advice. Okay, if that's what you want, try it and go all in, regardless of how long your days look like. Go all in on
Right
it.
now.
Yeah, right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Right now, it's like go on all in on it, because one or two things are gonna happen. You're gonna build that momentum in order for you to be very successful, or two, you're gonna realize that that's not really what
Yeah.
makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because something that I realized, when I got out of the Marine Corps, this is very personal, but I'm gonna share it. Something I realized when I was out of the Marine Corps, man. Let me go all the way back. Actually, where are we at right now with time?
32 minutes.
Okay, so we
32?
so we still got some time. Okay, so I'm gonna share this very personal story. I was on deployment one time. I think I've shared this part specifically, but I was on deployment one time, and my wife called me up. I was broke as a fucking joke. It wasn't our deployment, by the way, but it was a deployment previous to that one. And I was broke as a joke, dude. I was like, my account was going negative, like, in the overdraft. Like, do you know how, I don't know if you know how poor you've been, but when your account goes overdraft, federal allows you to go overdraft for like $500.
Okay.
And then after $500, that's when your car starts declining. Okay. So I would go in the negatives like day like 4 or 5. Okay. And then I was on deployment this one time, and my wife calls me up with my 2 kids. It was like, Albert, I was trying to buy groceries. We have nothing to eat, and the card is declining. Dude, that was the most powerless I've ever felt in my entire life. The most powerless I've ever felt in my entire life. And I made a promise one day, which we were to my wife, which we were actually just talking about this like 2 or 3 days ago, because of the thing that I'm about to tell you. And I promised to her that one day, you will never, ever be put in this position again. We will never be in this financial position ever again. And that's when I got really serious about my shit.
Yeah.
Really, really serious about it. And I was very successful, dude. Very successful financially. Enough where it allows me to do this. It allows me to, honestly, it allows, I'm not gonna say that I have fuck you money, but I have no thank you money.
Yeah, I like that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I have no thank you money. I was like, no, thank you. We're not going to do that. Or no, thank you. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, but that has cost me the main reason why I wanted the money in the first place, which was time with my family and, and being able to do all this other type of shit.
Yeah.
Right. So now what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find my financial number. It's like, okay, so where do I feel what really gives me gratitude? What gives me gratitude, number one, is developing other people. I'm developing Stas Hernandez right now, which, by the way, he's killing it in the real estate industry. Shout out to Abe. Okay. I was like, so I like to develop people. And the other thing that I like is I like to spend time with my family. Mm-hmm. So how do I develop a number or come up with a number that allows me to do both? Mm-hmm. Because, dude, I did a lot. I made like a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of money. And I was like, damn, dude, like, is this really what brings me happiness? And it wasn't. So I know money doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I know money doesn't make me happy. I like how I feel when I have money. Don't get me wrong. But that doesn't bring me happiness if the people that is around me doesn't feel happy. Me bringing happiness to other people brings me more joy than having the actual money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's the reason why I tell you what I'm trying to tell you is like, dude, it's not just simply about the money. It's about what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I suggest. You're in a prime position right now because if you already know that you're going to transition out of the military, and we as military service members, we have that burden upon ourselves, right? It's like, fuck, dude, I'm about to leave a super steady paycheck that I know regardless if I get NJP, the most that I'm not going to get paid for is going to be fucking 45 days.
Right.
And then after that, I'm getting my regular paycheck. To, damn, what it sounds like you're going to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. It's like, damn, now I'm going to be an entrepreneur, so everything depends on me. Right. There's nobody that I can blame but myself for not making money.
I love that though.
You know? So no, it's 100% great because again, it gives you don't get me wrong, I'm trying to work to where I get fuck you money. Mm-hmm. But I'm okay. I'm satisfied with no thank you money. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why is because I actually wrote a post on my Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, the reason why I feel this way is because I personally like competition over winning.
Yes.
Like I want you guys at home as well to really think about that, right? It's like I prefer competition over winning because when I win, great. You see what I'm saying? Like I know the amount of efforts that it takes in order for you to win. But I also take satisfaction in knowing when other people win if they put in the same amount of effort that I put into winning. Because that's the type of people that I want to surround myself with.
100%.
That's why me and Abe, we're like a power couple. Dude, me and Abe talk like 8 or 10 times a day. You see what I'm saying? And he's winning. And I love that because I see the genuine like efforts that he's putting into winning. And that's the type of people that I like to work with.
Yes.
What I don't like is the type of people, which there's a lot more than what there is the type of people that I'm telling you. The type of people that like to win by cheating. By trying to skirt the system.
Yeah, it'll only work for so long.
It will only work for so long, but I take satisfaction in knowing that you won. But you know that you had to fucking cheat in order for you to beat me.
Yeah.
And I love that, dude. Like I that's why I don't you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, y'all want to do y'all do you. I'm going to continue to do mine and cuz there's a lot of people and I hear it and I feel it. It was like, "Damn, look at this other guy that already has X amount of followers and has X amount in his business." There's something that I learned is like if you build your business from the ground up with a solid foundation, that is going to be rock solid. Mm-hmm. Those people are building and they're building very high, but their foundation is not as solid as mine. Right. You see what I'm saying? For example, we kind of went off on a tangent, but this has been on my mind.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say an agent recruits 100, like a broker recruits 100 agents into the real estate team.
Right.
The first year, he's doing great. He's doing this, he's doing that. But you know what eventually happens? What eventually happens is that agent is not going to have time to develop all of those 100 agents. It's going to come out that that person was greedy, is the only reason why he wanted to recruit those agents in the first place, so that way he can make money off of them.
Yeah.
And then no development happened. And you know when no development happens and when people don't feel appreciated, they leave.
Yeah.
And you know when people leave, they talk shit about you. Regardless if it's true or if it's not, people talk shit.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I have a very small team, because I want to develop 10, 15 people to reach the level of success that I've reached.
Yeah.
And then from them, I want them to develop 10 or 15 people, solid people that are not going to leave my side because they're grateful for the things that we built together.
Loyalty.
Yep. And then they're going to build 10 or 15 people of their own. And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how, that, in my opinion, that's a proper way of scaling a business. Because a lot of people, and that's what happens, we can go back to what it says about the podcast. That's what happens whenever it comes about scaling the podcast. It's like, dude, like, the reason why is because you go like super hard in the paint, but you don't realize, dude, like, it's like, okay, well, the first roadblock that active duty members are going to say, you say one wrong thing. It doesn't even have to be wrong. It can just be perceived the wrong way. Boom. Message is being sent to Comstrat. Comstrat sending it to your commander. Dude, I had a guy, they didn't say anything wrong in his social media. When was I talking to this guy? It had to be like within like this week. He was talking to his command, and he's like, yeah, dude, the reason why I stopped doing videos was because my command threatened me to NJP me, to court martial me, just because they sent me this video that he showed me the video. He wasn't even doing nothing wrong. He was just in uniform.
Yeah. It's interesting because the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, he utilizes social media in a positive way. And if folks are doing that as well.
But what's a positive way? And that's the part that's too subjective. Because I personally think you sharing your adversity and you being super honest about your adversity, about hazing, about pinning, about all of that stuff, I think that spreads a positive message because it sends a real message.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, people can know what to expect and how to react once they actually go in those situations. And they go like, no, thank you. I'm not going to be pinned.
Yeah.
That's not right. Exactly. Because Derek told me that's not right. Albert told you that's not right.
Yeah.
Some people be like, oh, we don't talk about that because those things don't happen no more in the Marine Corps. Bitch, yes, they fucking do.
Yeah.
He just told you 2020 fucking 3 and it happens.
It happens. Yeah, it happens every month.
2020 fucking 5 and it happens. Yeah. Okay? So don't tell me that this shit doesn't happen. It may be reduced because people have gotten smart about bringing their phones out and recording when this shit happens. But does it happen? Yes, it does. Yeah. Chinese Field Day, does it happen? Could the questionable shit that we didn't even go into?
Yeah.
Does that shit happen? Yeah. Yes, it does. DUIs happen every single fucking time. So that's why I appreciate that that's a positive message that I think you're sending. Yeah. Being open and being real about who you are and what brought you here. Some people don't feel that way. And it's too subjective. And the way that people get pissed off is like Barry always says, shout out to my co-host, I love you. Barry always says is they get mad because they outrank you. You outrank them in social media.
Yeah. There's a bit to digest. I want to touch on you trying to get us to help Marines, when they're transitioning, kind of identify what they're going to do. They say that all humans are motivated by a few things, one being materialistic, so money, materialistic things, mastery, so kind of social status, mating, love, movement, freedom. Can I go from A to B without telling somebody? Can I move freely?
I like what you did there with the A to B. I like what you did there. That's the proper phrase.
Can
to
I
utilize.
go to this country and I move freely? So you have to identify: do I like materialistic, money, love, mating, mastery, social status? Like a lot of men today like the feeling of walking into a room and being recognized. Oh shoot, that's Albert from the ADB podcast. That's tight. Some people like that, and of course the freedom. So when Marines are transitioning, like what's important to you? Is it the money? That's fine. You know.
Well, I think they're all intertwined. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
I do think that they're all intertwined. You know, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to also say, like, dude, I don't fucking know what the fuck I want. I know I'm gonna tell you this, dude. I'm from Puerto Rico. Okay? I've never seen a fucking person on a jet ski that's not laughing.
Exactly.
So money does bring some type of satisfaction at the minimum. I'm not going to say happiness. I'm going to say some type of satisfaction. So start there. You know, if you want to start there, start there. If you already know that money is not your thing. Like, for example, I know, matter of fact, let me not even go there. But I know for a fact that some people know off the bat. It's like, nah, man, like I prefer like my dad. Dude, my dad doesn't give a shit about money. Dude, my dad can live on top of his freaking car. He loves camping. He goes camping every single time. I enjoy camping, but I'm not like a camping freak like he is. He can spend weeks out in the nature, dog. Like that's just his thing.
Yeah. So he's probably more of a movement freedom guy. He likes to just boom, be here, be there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's him. I don't know how he fucking does it. And he's like 50. And he still does all this shit, you know? So I know for a fact that money is not necessarily his thing.
Right.
I thought money was my thing. I thought that when I would have a lot of money, I would, you know, do this. I can tell you, maybe I don't have enough money. Because that could be another way of thinking at it. Like, yeah, dude, like you don't have enough money yet. Maybe I don't. I'm working towards it. I'm not gonna say I'm neglecting that area.
Yeah.
But that's just the thing that I say to you, brother. Is like, dude, whatever it is, start. You know what really helped me out, and I'm gonna share this with you. It's the last thing, and we'll close. Dude, a vision board. And you're in the stage that you're on right now. Dude, do a vision board and be very specific with that vision board.
Yeah.
It's crazy because when I was active duty, I did a vision board and I put the specific car that I wanted. I put the specific type of house that I wanted.
Right.
I know I wanted a house with a pool and a backyard and all of this stuff, right? Literally, I manifested all those things within a year and a half of me doing that vision board. Oh, yeah. So, because now you have something visual that you can look at every day and you can be like, okay, so what do I need to do today to be one step closer towards this? Highly encourage you to do that, brother. Derek, I appreciate.
Albert, it's been good.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming over here, man. I think you're one of the most honest and raw guests that we've had here on the podcast, and I truly love it. I thought I was like, man, there was a couple of questions that I asked and some things that I said. I was like, man, I think he's going to stand up and he's going to walk out of here. But I definitely appreciate you keeping your composure. You definitely give a good name to the Motor T community. You know, I think the Marine Corps is lucky to have you. And I also think that whichever it's in store for you next, whichever company, or if you decide to, you know, start your company, I think that it's going to be in very good hands because of the type of person that you are being composed and you're being challenged to be, brother. So thank you so much for being. Where can people reach out to you at?
Ruiz Derek, Instagram. But before we close, what do we have? Time?
No, yeah.
Okay, I just want to say, you know, to the young people out there, Americans, the Marine Corps is a good place. Oftentimes, we always get asked, I'm sure you get asked, should I join? Should I join? Should I join? Marine Corps is a great place. The military is a great place. So for young people, dude, join the military. Pick which branch is good for you. Of course, we're biased. Marine Corps, we go Marine. So join the Marine Corps, do your research. But Marine Corps is a great place for young people to join the organization. And you're going to come out a better product. Whether you stay in or get out, you're gonna be a better product. But you know, you can reach me at Ruiz Derek on Instagram, Ruiz Derek Official, TikTok, and my YouTube. Just type in my name, Derek Ruiz. But yeah, sir.
Awesome, guys. As always, if you guys enjoyed this podcast episode and if you've stayed so long all the way to the end, make sure that you guys like, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way you get all the juiciest, spiciest, episodes that we are going to release. We're going to continue to releasing episodes. We're all the way booked out, guys. So please make sure if you have a guest that you would like to see, let us know. Listen, there's a couple of guests that you guys have been saying they got me blocked. Okay, like that blood bars or whatever the fuck his name is, and he got me blocked. I don't know what the fuck I did to him. I've never known that guy. Dr. Jose Flores. That's another one that also has me blocked. Why? I don't know. But whenever you do things, like people react a certain way. I have no way of knowing why they react the way that they react. Just know that if you have a guest that you would like to see on the A2B podcast, if they don't have me blocked, they're more than welcome to come over here. Now, if they have me blocked, that's okay. They can still come over here and we can talk about it like two grown adults instead of hitting that block button without me doing nothing to you. I'll see you guys in the next episode.